Hello everybody, welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today I'm going to be doing my review of Marvel Legends figure Jean Grey as the Phoenix by Hasbro. Now, Jean Grey has always been a cool figure in my mind. You know, throughout the X-Men run, she's been there from the beginning. She's still there and what have you. So her as the Phoenix is one of the most popular versions of Jean Grey. So I'm really curious to see what they actually do with this figure. So first thing I want to mention is that I do have a membership program. So for $2 a month, you get a lot of cool stuff like, blooper reels, behind the scenes, tips, and all sorts of other things. So go ahead and check that out. So now, without any further ado, roll that intro. So here she is in packaging. So up top you have Marvel Legends, your choking hazards. You get an open window here so you can see the figure and all her accessories. Her name, the Phoenix, Hasbro, and your age restrictions. Spin around to this side. Not a whole lot going on here. You got your Marvel Legends, the Phoenix logo. All right, you come here. You get this beautiful picture of the action figure. I love that. That looks really nice. Marvel Legends, Jean Grey, Phoenix Force. A little bit about her. And some legal. Push her back just a hair. Come around here. You get some awesome comic book art. I love that picture of her. Alright. Up top, you got the Phoenix logo. And underneath, you got your legal and SKU. So, all that being said, let's open her up and see what she's about. So here she is out of packaging. I do like the profile look to her. She looks pretty cool. So now let's get into her points of articulation. So the head does move. The hair interferes a little bit with the movement, but not much. She has a shoulder joint with a swivel and an elbow joint, plus a wrist joint. Elbow's a little tight, but it still does move. All right. You have a joint underneath the ribs. You have I think she has a back and forth joint. Yeah. There is a joint right here at the hips. All right. You got a thigh joint with a swivel. All right. You got a knee joint and an ankle joint. So other than the elbow being a little bit stiff, everything seems to work pretty well on her. So now let's get a good look at her closer details. So first is the head sculpt. I like the detailing into her face. It looks really nice. All right. It's definitely obviously the happier looking face for the Phoenix. All right. And back around here. I do like the fact that they do the Phoenix logo almost in a very glossy. Here, let me move her forward a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. Almost like a gloss gold, which makes it pop out a little bit more. I do like that. And then she has her sash. All right. Her boots are gold and so forth. So there isn't really a whole lot to talk about her detail wise. All right, you look here, you can see the Phoenix logo on there. All right, complete our rotation here. All right, and then around to this side where you can see the arm when it's down. So another thing I'm noticing is there's not a lot of discrepancy in her paint too, which is really nice. So overall, I think she's a pretty decent looking figure. So she does come with a couple of accessories. So she comes with an alternate head. So that's more the Phoenix Force taking over her looking head. I do like the face sculpt on that. That looks really nice. And then she comes with 2 closed fists. So she comes with 1 and 2. All right. So now the next big piece is she comes with this display stand. And we're going to look at that in a minute. But first I want to go through her accessories. So let's do the head swap first. All right. Came off fairly easy. There we go. So that head went on pretty well. No issues with that. Now your 2 closed fists. To run, no place to hide, indicate. Now we go. X-Men, this is the day. All right, there we go. So the fists work well with her too. So everything seems to swap out pretty easily with her. So now we're going to put her over here for a minute, and we're going to take a look at the stand. So the stand comes in 4 parts. So you got the base, 2 swirls of fire, 1 and 2. And then last but not least, you have the Phoenix Force. Now the head does move on this. That's the only thing that moves on this. Other than that, it's pretty solid. Let's see how well this thing goes together. All right, so you see the larger gap here goes in here, and then the shorter gap goes on the other side. Now this kind of twirls together, all right, in some weird locking way. I'm almost wondering if I have to put heat to it to get it together. All right, now that's almost in there. There we go. So the real trick in this is just lining everything up the way it's meant to be. All right, get that to go like that. Get that in here, like that. Big piece goes in there like that, holds it all together. All right, so that's the fiery Phoenix Force. And how the hell does this go on here? All right, unfortunately, they did not give directions to this, so I'm thinking Jean goes in the front here. It looks like there's a spot for a foot to fit in here, something like that. All right. Maybe the other foot fits in here, like this. All right. All right, I'm going to play with this off screen for a minute. So here she is completely together. Now there is no instructions on how to put this together, but when you tinker around with it for a minute, you will figure it out. So if you look here, her foot goes all the way into that hole, and then the other foot, if you could see it, kind of just slides into that spot there. And, it kind of just sits there. You have to bend the legs back a little bit. So let's take a look over here. So if you look here, you can see how I have the leg bent. All right, looking at the back of the Phoenix Force. So how this fire comes up, you can lock it in behind the Phoenix. So you can see this piece comes up here. Then there's a piece here that hooks up right underneath the wing. And on this side as well. So it takes a little bit of figuring out. I feel like I got it on there right, hopefully. But it does look really cool. And then like you see how I have this knee bent. So it allows her to sit back on the Phoenix a little bit more. So overall, that looks really cool. I like that overall look. Okay, so let me give you my final thoughts on her. So first off, the figure, all her joints move very well. Had no issues with that. Um, she only comes with an alternate head and two hands. They swapped out very well. And I do feel like the overall look to this figure looks great. I do like the overall look to her. So would I recommend this figure? Yes, I would. I think she'd be a great piece to go with the rest of your Marvel figures. Now, it did take a little bit of working to get the stand to work right, but a little bit of figuring it out, it does work. It may help would have helped if they would have gave you some sort of directions just to help you guide you in the right, direction. But, once you get it all together, it looks amazing. And I would highly recommend this figure for anybody who's an X-Men or Marvel fan. So, with that being said, the first thing I want to do is give a shout out to a couple of people who support this channel. First on that list is Byron Bassett and his alter ego, Humongous. He does a lot of stuff to help this channel and to promote it. And he does have his own YouTube channel that he does his, show every Sunday, which is pretty funny and entertainment. I would recommend that you check that out. Plus, also, I want to give a shout out to Action Figure Geeks. They're a Reddit group that also supports his channel, and all of their information for both of them is in the description. I also want to ask that you check out my Marvel playlist and my membership program. Plus, hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So, until the next one, late.